Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is absolutely fantastic that Kanye West is running for president. I do. I think it's amazing. This is Kanye West on Twitter. We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, and building our future. I am running for the president of the United States. And then there's an American flag, and he mentioned God, so you know that he's not going to be a Democrat. And Elon Musk, you have my full support. So this is amazing. He runs as an independent. And in 2024, he can win the presidency as a Republican, not as a Democrat. Okay, you see right now the resistance Twitter is melting down because they know that if it's not two people, if they can't paint the election as just the lesser of two horrible, terrible, absurd choices, it's going to be Hillary Clinton. So that's probably why Kanye West knows what's really going on. It ain't going to be Biden. And I will have made the biggest political call of all time. Share my Times of Israel article. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. That's below. And share my Huffington Post article written in 2017. Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Thank God. President Trump is a great president. Signs prison reform legislation, so you can't call him a tyrant or a despot or an authoritarian. I don't know many authoritarians in history, strongmen in history, that actually that have prison reform as part of their signature achievements and signed a deal to remove Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflict in February and March. So he's bringing home American soldiers to their families and their loved ones. So I don't know many tyrants who sign prison reform legislation and also bring home and lessen our involvement in military conflicts that are perpetual, that are endless, that Bush got us into and President Obama continued. So, and in many ways, President Obama built upon Bush's foreign policy. But here, if you look, this is an interesting article. Kanye West says he's running for president. Is it still possible? Kanye West says he's running for president. His wife, Kim Kardashian West, confirmed the news. Kanye West announced on the 4th of July that he is running for president. It's unclear if he plans to run in 2020 or in a future election. If it's 2020, then Democrats are done. Well, they're done anyway in 2024, too. They have nobody for 2024. People forget that President Obama had a very, very, he had an amazing speech. I believe it was in 2004, but before 2008. So he had this amazing speech in the 2000 when Kerry lost. 2004 speech at the DNC. So this is what catapulted him into the national spotlight. Okay, they don't have anyone this year. Who? Amy Klobuchar? Eric Swalwell? Bill de Blasio? Tell me who they have. So they don't have anyone who you can say, okay, in 2024, this person. So Democrats are pretty much done. And Kanye West, if he runs this year, I'm telling you, can be, and I will make, look, NPR quoted me below. In 2015, I stated Clinton is unelectable, would lose swing states. She did. In that paragraph, 538 said that Trump wouldn't be GOP nominee. Look at the NPR article. NPR quoted me below in 2015. And I accurately predicted the 2016 election. I'm telling you, Kanye West could become president if he runs as a Republican in 2024. Easily become president. Okay. And not as a Democrat, because Democrats, they're very insidious and vile political party. There's a reason why John Brennan, James Clapper, all of Hollywood, all of media, the Democratic Party, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Hillary Clinton, all oppose President... Oh, and Bill Kristol and Max Boot and all the establishment Bush-era Republicans. There's a reason... And Bernie Sanders. So you have this unholy, hilarious, sad, pathetic bunch of imbeciles who want Medicare for all. and Bernie Sanders, and also want American involvement forever in foreign lands like Bill Kristol and Max Boot. You realize that Max Boot and Bill Kristol and Bernie Sanders are voting for the same person. You realize that they voted for the same person in 2016. They're voting for the same person in 2020, Hillary Clinton. So this is important. This is why Kanye West can become president in 2024. If Bernie Sanders and if the Lincoln Project and Democratic Socialists are voting for the same person, okay, if Rose Twitter and former Bush era conservatives are voting for the same person that happens to be a Democrat, this is how Kanye West wins, and this is easily how President Trump goes 8 years. So he's going to go 8 years. Thank God. In Hebrew, it's Baruch Hashem. Thank God. But you have it. He can win millions of votes, like a lot more than 4.5 million. And it wouldn't be from people who want to vote for Trump, because people who are voting for Trump of all backgrounds, of all ethnicities, and you're going to see more. President Trump is doing better among Hispanic and Latino voters than he did in 2016. And he got almost 30% of the Latino vote. Okay, Biden's doing worse than Clinton. And Latinos are the largest non-white demographic in the Republican Party. So, in the Democratic Party. So, if you look, it's okay, Ballotpedia, according to Ballotpedia, 33 states require a write-in presidential candidate to file some paperwork in advance of an election. In 9 states, write-in voting for presidential candidates is not permitted. The remaining states do not require presidential write-in candidates to file special paperwork for the election. So you're looking at swing states. I don't know if, look, you're looking at, and so everyone is upset. And nobody want Rose. Okay, the Resistance Twitter is now going after him. Oh, how did he get out of $50 million in debt? I'm sure they're going to equate him with Putin very soon. Kim Kardashian West then retweeted the tweet. So obviously you're going to get, this is going to be an independent run by Kanye West, and he builds a base in 2020. He could win in 2024 only if he runs as a Republican, which, could easily happen. But anyway, because you put Kanye West with Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, he eats them alive. He eats them alive the way Trump ate them alive. But that's a whole other story. Okay? If Kanye West has a foreign policy like President Trump, where he is opposed to interventions, see, what's the one thing that Jill Stein, Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, and President Trump all have in common? Well, Russia wants them all, and they're Putin's favorite candidates, but they all are against never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts where we send Americans off to fight in never-ending conflict and war. President Trump signed a deal to bring our soldiers home from Afghanistan in late February. It doesn't sound like a tyrant to me. Usually authoritarians and despots send Americans off to never-ending conflict. He's bringing Americans home. President Trump signed prison legislation, prison reform legislation, the First Step Act. Doesn't sound like a tyrant and a despot to me. Usually an authoritarian demagogue promotes mass incarceration, kind of like Madam Secretary, kind of like Bill Clinton and Biden. Okay, first president ever to sign, so in addition to the First Step Act, sign legislation President Trump did to increase funding for historically black colleges and universities. You don't really hear this in the news, okay? Trump signs a bill restoring funding for black colleges. So here is this horrible monster, this horrible supremacist. Why would he do this? See, the basic logic, like the left doesn't, like, they don't have basic logic. They don't have logical reasoning skills. It's very difficult to actually have a discussion because they don't really engage in debate. It's more like yelling, throwing out obscenities and accusations that are absurd, false analogies, appeals to authority where the authority figure is James Clapper, yelling out the word racist, and then ignoring President Donald Trump on Thursday signed a bipartisan bill that will permanently provide more than $250 million a year to the nation's historically black colleges and universities, along with dozens of other institutions that serve large shares of minority students. So this was the Associated Press, December 19, 2019. But you see, Trump, he speaks, and when he speaks, his horrible, divisive, incendiary messages reach a cell tower, and then from that cell tower, they reach a homing beacon within the minds of bigots everywhere, and then suddenly Democrats lose for the first time since the 1980s, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So he signs a bill restoring funding for black colleges and universities. He signed prison reform legislation. He's bringing home Americans from never-ending conflict. First president to step foot in North Korea, which is a huge accomplishment. That doesn't mean instant peace, but détente is important. Okay, because then when there is a flare-up and when there is an escalation in tensions, the chances are they'll be alleviated faster than not having the initial détente and not having the first president step foot between and having Moon Jae-in and Kim Jong-un embrace one another. I mean, this is like, that was a moment in world history that President Trump helped foster. He gets credit for nothing. Look, the media never gives him credit for anything. His words and his behavior and his poll numbers and the intelligence reports, and the Democrats have spent 4 years. And when they lose, they have nobody but themselves to blame, because they blamed everybody under the sun except Madam Secretary, who will be Clinton is going to be nominee. And so when the Biden is like, they're not going to go with a person who looks and acts like an exhumed body. They're not going to go with a person who appears to be and communicates like an exhumed body or has the appearance of a cadaver that got plastic surgery. They're not going to go with somebody like Biden. They're not going to go with Biden. The whole thing, even the DNC spokeswoman said, we're not officially nominating Biden, so there you go. But Kanye West is going to take votes away from Democrats because the passionate voters, 63 to 65 million voters, are going to vote for President Trump, either because they can't stand Democrats or mainly because he inspires them. He, like I said, is bringing home Americans, reversing U.S. foreign policy. He's presided over record low unemployment. There's going to be a V-shaped recovery. It's already happening. Job estimates beat expectations. S&P does well the last 3 months before the election. That bodes extremely well for President Trump. So, I mean, there you go. Then Kanye West builds a base for himself. He can win in 2024 and become president if he runs as a Republican. I know that sounds bizarre for people, but it's true. And Democrats will say, oh my God, he's working with Putin. Trump helped get him out of debt. Oh my God, you will see the true face of the Democratic Party. Okay, Kanye West, a black man, billionaire, or who was worth hundreds of millions. I don't know. I don't know how much money he has. I think it's like well over $1 billion. Okay. They say he was in debt, $50 million in debt. Who knows? Twitter is all over the place but a black man who is running essentially against the Democratic Party. And you see what they're going to do to him politically. In terms of public relations. You saw what Don Lemon did, which was really horrific on CNN. I don't even want to get into it. But, I mean, you see the venom and the vitriol. They don't care about the voices of people of all different backgrounds or ethnicities. What they care about is the voices of people of different backgrounds and ethnicities who agree with Democrats. But if you dare take votes away from the Democratic Party, like for example, if there was let's put it this way. You have 4 years. Democrats had 4 years to build a foundation for a winning campaign or strategy in 2020. Now, well, first of all, they would without Kanye West. So, assuming if he runs in 2020, which is not 100%, like I think he's going to, but let's say he just says that was for 2024. If he runs in 2020, Democrats are toast, which is hilarious. They're toast, and they're going to try to call him everything from a Russian operative to Trump is paying him off. Who knows what? Who knows what? They're already up in arms. But Kanye West takes votes not just from the Black or African American community, but also from the Jewish community, also from the Latino community, also from the Asian American community, also from every community, because everyone likes his music and everybody knows who he is. So the notion that like people who would vote for Kanye West are people who have who don't really like Trump, or they're not really into it, but they want to vote. And they might have voted Democrat. Maybe if they were if they went to actually vote, but they're voting Kanye West because he's not President Trump, or he might stand for a bunch of things that President Trump does, but you just don't want to. You'd rather vote for Kanye West, and he's definitely not. He's an alternative from the Democratic Party. So if it's just Hillary Clinton, if you think that Biden's going to be Biden, he would lose in a landslide just on his own. But if it's Kanye West, Hillary Clinton, and President Trump, Kanye West is like Jill Stein times 10. That would be the Green Party times 10. So, I mean, he would get 5 or 6 million votes that Democrats could possibly get. I could be wrong about the numbers. I could be wrong about the numbers, but they don't win. They don't win. Kanye West is awesome. I respect any celebrity that goes against the Hollywood paradigm and embraces President Trump, because on a microscopic level, I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Those links are below describing me. And when I left, people were like, "Oh yeah, no, he's a Trump supporter. No, he's a Trump supporter." And when I was on the left and I was supporting Bernie Sanders, I got vitriol and venom and nasty hit pieces for no reason, all lies. Or mostly, like, a bunch of these hit pieces were, like, completely inaccurate and unethical. But that's the way they are. If you don't, it's not like, oh, you're voting for Trump, well, we disagree with you. It's, you're a horrible person, you're a bad human being. If you're on the left and you don't vote for Clinton, you're just a Trump supporter. And then you become a Trump supporter. It's finally, we knew he was a Trump supporter. It's always some kind of just horrible, like, they can never accept that people don't like their viewpoints. They can never accept that almost all of their, everything their narrative is composed of, or all their allegations are nonsense. Give me your thoughts below. If Kanye West is running, if indeed he's running, and from what we see he's running, he gives President Trump a landslide victory. This is shaping up to be fantastic. So Kanye West runs, and you don't think Hillary's like, okay, this is the perfect look. Think of it from Hillary Clinton's perspective. She was going to run and lose again twice, but now she could say it's Kanye West's fault. She goes from Putin to Kanye West. It's never going to be her fault. She'll run in 2028 again, 2024, and then we'll see who she blames then. And then 2028, 2032, what happened this time? What happened yet again? What happened, yet again this time? Oh my God, not again. It's going to be 30 different books with the same theme. Give me your thoughts below. Kanye West gives Trump a huge Electoral College victory. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Ladies and gentlemen, your support and generosity on Patreon. Thank you to my new Patreons. It's greatly appreciated going into the November 3rd. And subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. I have a great segment on there. And subscribe to it. Tell your friends about it. H.A. Goodman's other channel. That link is below. Thank you.